Greetings viewers, if you click the video link you already know what we're here for, so let's jump right into it. The magazines that we are going to be testing today. We have the newish Magpul Tmag. We've got the Hexmag carbon fiber edition. And we have another Lancer returning, except this is the generation 2. I haven't really looked into it to see what the difference is, but Lancer did okay last time. So we're going to check that and see if these are any better. We are going to make a couple of changes if you did watch the last video where I torture tested a couple mags. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is I'm going to eliminate the rifle element. So the whole purpose of these tests is for testing the magazines. We're not testing the rifle. And the problem is, and if you watch the other video, you'll kind of notice a progression as we fill this mag with sand and dirt and put it in the gun, and then this one, and we get to this one starts having issues. Well, is it really the mag? Is it the rifle? And when I was done with that test and cleaning the rifle afterwards, it was pretty nasty. There was sand and dirt and mud everywhere inside the rifle, which was causing issues with the bolt without a magazine even inserted. So that's kind of not fair and can negatively impact the results or the appearance of results for a specific magazine. So what I'm going to be doing is manually stripping the rounds off the top by hand. Also, another element that somebody had mentioned in the comments from the previous video was talking about moon dust, which is basically just a really fine powdery dirt, dust, sand. I don't have any of that here in Florida, but I do have baby powder, and I know that can be pretty rough being such a fine powder. It gets down in everything, so we're going to add that element into it. As well, after we do each one of the tests where we put it in the freezer and take it out, instead of going right to the stripping rounds, we're going to do a drop test after every single one. So we're going to do the freezer, we're going to drop it. We're going to do the heat, we're going to drop it, so on and so forth. So that way we subject them to a little bit more abuse and can actually maybe earn the title of an actual torture test. I don't know. But I'm going to shut up, and we're going to go ahead and open these up and start dropping them empty on the feed lips, load them up, and then drop them again. So as you can see, they are all brand new in the packaging. I'm going to do the same thing as far as the drop test is concerned, and we're going to be dropping them from shoulder height. Just hold it out, drop it straight on the feed lips. That was the Lancer. Now we've got the Hexmag. That didn't sound good. And we've got our Tmag. So just some minor scuffing on the feed lips here, nothing major. I don't see anything busted. I wouldn't expect anything to break. If they did, then that would be a sad day for whoever's mags they were. So let's go ahead and load these things up, and then we're going to drop them again, and then we'll put them in the freezer. All right, so I have all three of these standard capacity magazines loaded to max. However, I did apparently miss something. I went back and checked my order history, and it does not say anything about it. But it appears that the Hexmag is only a 15 round capacity, as it's got the little rivet in here that prevents you from opening the base plate and taking out the spacer. So I'm going to keep rolling with it. It's the same magazine, just we have less rounds in it with a different follower, or with a different mag limiter in there. The other ones are, again, all standard capacity loaded to max, so we're going to go ahead and drop them while they're full. All right, we didn't have any rounds pop out that time. Again, just a little bit more scuffing and some marking on there from the concrete. So I'm not going to go ahead and strip these. We're just going to go ahead and throw them in the freezer, let them sit for 2 hours, and then we'll come back and drop them again before we try and strip them. All right, so it is currently 11:49 in the morning. Our mags are in the freezer, so we're going to let them sit for 2 hours, and we'll take them out and keep rolling. All right, so it's been 2 hours. Let's go ahead and get these things out of the freezer. We're going to drop them and then see if we can get some rounds out of them. All right, so we're at 7. All right, seems like they're pretty evenly cold across the board, so let's go ahead and start dropping them, and then we'll unload them. All right, so frozen mag, first one up is the Tmag, so we're going to go ahead and drop it. Again, no serious major damage. You can see all the frost and moisture on there, so let's go ahead and start stripping this, see how it works. So let's go ahead and start stripping. This is a spare round that did not go into the Hexmag since it can't fit full capacity in it. And as expected, no issues, nothing really changed there. All right, next up is the Lancer Gen 2. Again, nice solid hit. Some scraping on the feed lips and the round that's on top. All right, no major issues. It definitely felt like the rounds were scraping. I'm guessing on the bottom of the feed lips where it kind of got dinged a little bit. They were still slid out just fine, but you could tell they were dragging a lot more than the others. All right, and last up we've got the carbon fiber Hexmag. So before we start stripping, you can see the rounds are kind of funky in there. The one that's underneath the top round is actually looking like it's trying to squeeze past the top round. And there's our first issue. So again, like I said, those bottom rounds trying to actually override the top rounds. So let me give this a quick whack and see if that kind of realigns everything. Okay, let's keep trying here. All right, so other than that little snafu, again, likely from dropping it, just the inertia of the rounds moving, one tried to override the other, and we saw how that worked out. So I'm gonna go ahead and load these back up, and we're gonna let them sit in the sun for a while. All right, so we've got the mags out here in the sun. We put them in the freezer for 2 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and leave them in the sun for 2 hours. I think last time I only did it for an hour. And then there was also some issues with the shade moving around, so they're not gonna get any shade. We'll come back in 2 hours, temp check them, drop them, and try to unload them. All right, so these have been sitting in the sun for about 2 hours. The temperature outside on my thermometer is registering as 94. It's been in full sun, so let's go ahead and do our temp check here. I'm gonna hit the base, well, so the tray that they're sitting on is reading 135. Tmag 138. Lancer 136. And the Hexmag 131. So let's go ahead and drop them and then see what happens when we strip the rounds out. All right, so first up we've got the Tmag. Again, we just have some minor scuffing there of the rounds and the feed lips. This thing is definitely toasty to hold on to. All right, so we got all the rounds out. The follower hung up for just a little bit, and then it kind of popped itself up. I don't know what that was all about, but it seems to be working fine. Next up is the Lancer. So that one worked well. Also, it still definitely feels like the rounds are dragging, like they're scraping pretty hard on these feed lips as they're being stripped out, but they did come out. Didn't take any more effort than would a bolt going forward on them. And next up is the Hexmag. This thing is definitely not fun to hold on to after having sat in the sun for 2 hours. It did have a round pop out. So the front of the mag here is pretty chewed up. The feed lips are as well. Definitely does not like being dropped on its head. And it unloaded just fine, no issues this time. All right, so now we've gotten to the part where we're gonna actually make it a little bit difficult for these mags. We're gonna go ahead and use the place sand, same exact sand and bucket that I used last time. We'll go ahead and do the Tmag first. Same thing we did before. We dropped it in the sand. Oops, we got butterfingers. Put the lid on, we're gonna give it 3 shakes. 1, 2, 3. If I drop my mag in the sand, I'm not just gonna take it like this and shove it in my gun. I'm probably gonna tilt it down a little bit. I'm gonna give it 2 whacks, 1, 2, and then we're gonna go ahead and see if we can strip these rounds out. You can definitely see that sand has made it all the way down to the spring and the bottom of the mag, so it's definitely all between any one of these rounds here. Well, there's our first issue. So we popped the first round out, the second one fell out with it. We've now got oh, there we go. It decided to spring itself forward, and you can see the mess that has now ensued at the top. So we've got rounds that are all kinds of jacked up. Definitely not feeding. The follower is now stuck. We've got a round that's nosedived here. Gonna have to give it a whack. Straightened it out. We're stuck again. Whacking it does not seem to help. And our magazine is now empty, and the follower is not quite to the top. There we go. You just got to bash on it quite a bit, and then it made it. So T-mags and sand do not mix. If you're doing any sort of amphibious operations, you might want to find a new mag. All right, next up, we'll go ahead and do the Lancer. Same thing. Whoopsie. Mag fell in the sand. 1, 2, 3. Pull it out, turn it upside down, give it 2 good whacks. It doesn't look like we got quite as much sand down in there as the T-mag, so maybe it'll have better luck. Or maybe not. Browns are stuck down there. We're just dumping sand out. All right, follower popped up. Sand is definitely winning today. Follower stuck again. This is the same test I did last time, and we didn't have this many issues. And it looks like we had the same problem. The follower is not quite to the top of the mag, but the mag is empty. And perhaps we did have these same issues, but when I would charge the weapon, it wouldn't eject a round, or a round wouldn't feed, so we're just seeing it from a different angle at this point, and again, eliminating the rifle as the variable. All right, last but not least, let's even the sand out. Hexmag going in the sand. One, two. Can't see through it to tell you how much sand is buried in there. Let's see what we get. And no issues there with the sand, and again, we did the same exact test. Now granted, there's only 15 rounds that we popped out of there, but it wasn't struggling at all or having any issues, so I guess that makes up for the failure earlier when we dropped it. All right, so moving right along, after we've done the sand, we're now just using some dirt. I just took a shovel and dug up a bunch of dirt in my yard, so there's some leaf debris and other junk that you would normally find if you found your mag dropped on the ground. Everything's loaded back up to full, so we're just gonna continue on. So once again, we're gonna give it 3 good shakes. 1, 2, 3. 2 whacks. Spewing dirt everywhere. That's not looking good already, based on what happened with the sand. Uh-oh. And our follower has bound up. Follower is stuck there. All our rounds are gone. give it a whack, and it popped up. All right, next up, Lancer going in the dirt. One, two. We got 2 rounds left and the follower is stuck. Hasn't popped up. And now it did. All right, Hexmag. One, two. The follower stuck down. I don't know if you can tell there. The round is just below the lip here where it would feed forward. So that would definitely require immediate action to fix, because I was not pushing forward. Same issue again. And we're empty. I guess the next thing we're going to do before I get them wet, I'm going to move on to the baby powder, and then we'll turn this dirt into mud. All right, so mags are all loaded up to capacity again. Every single one of them was having some serious issues trying to get that last round loaded in. It's still kind of gunky and grimy in there. I banged them around enough to knock out some dirt, but I'm not completely washing them out in between each test, because again, we're torture testing them. So I don't have a ginormous thing of baby powder, otherwise I'd be easy to fill up a tub and shake them around just the same, but since I don't have that, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have to squirt some down in there. We'll just kind of give it a even metered squirts on all 3 of them, and we'll see if that does anything. This stuff is very fine and gets into everything, so I have no doubt that it would cause some havoc. So 1, 2, 3. Definitely got a sufficient coating on top there. Kind of make sure it gets down in there, and then we're going to knock this off. 1, 2, 3. Stuff gets everywhere. It's a huge mess. And so let's go see if that caused any issues for us. Tmag. We had a little bit of a follower getting stuck issue again, but it slid itself up. And we're at the end. Oh, I don't know if you caught that. This barely was stuck there and then slowly let itself up, but it was after the last round came out. So next up is Lancer's turn, and I'm just doing this over the dirt bucket. When we turn this into mud, it's all going to get mixed up anyway, so it's irrelevant. So 1, 2, 3. Shake it around a little bit, let it get down in there. 1, 2, 3. Similar issue, we got to the end there. Follower's stuck, but pop back up. Follower's not all the way there. That last round fell out on its own. And now it's back to its normal position. And now Hexmag's turn. 1, 2, 3. Shake it down in there. 1, 2, 3. So same issue as before. The round is nosedive below the level where it can actually be stripped forward. So definitely immediate action drill to get that to pop up. Same thing again. It's just catching on that lip. And it's empty. All right, so we have some nice gloppy mud here. I stirred it all up. Good. We've been doing the Tmag first, so we're going to do that one first again. Drop it in the mud. Now, I think last time I didn't really shake it around. I just kind of let it submerge a little bit. I don't have the exact ratio of dirt to water that I used last time, so we'll just make sure that we kind of get a nice little covering here. All right, so I think that's sufficiently submerged. If you dropped your mag in the mud, you're probably not going to take it just like that without doing anything to it. So I'm going to shake this off a little bit. 1, 2, 3. And then let's see what happens here. Now, the last 2 rounds again, follower got hung up and the rounds fell out. And now the follower has returned to home. So those last 2 rounds, wherever that follower is hitting, seems to be where the sweet spot is for dirt and junk to get into. All right, Lancer's turn. Sufficiently submerged. I'm gonna put my finger over it, shake it off 3 times. 1, 2, 3. All right, on the Lancer, nothing hung up, everything stripped out just fine. Just that same really rough, getting those rounds out of there. I think, again, it's those feed lips just kind of digging into the brass a little bit. But no issues with the mud on the Lancer. Smooth that out a little bit. Last is the Hexmag. Nice and covered. 1, 2, 3. Another nosedive issue there. I can't strip that round. That did not fix it. And empty. So there was one of the rounds kind of got really loose and I could feel the follower slowly letting itself up. It wasn't normal smooth transition, but again, that's going to happen when you've got all this crap clogged up in there. All right, so in terms of having to pick a winner for today, I feel like the Hexmag was kind of handicapped by being a limited capacity. That's kind of upsetting, especially considering it was not advertised when I purchased it, that was the issue. Not happy about that. The T-Mags are fairly new. I know Magpul does a lot of testing before they release stuff, and they worked on these for a long time before they let them out to the general public. The Lancer Gen 2, like I said, I don't know offhand what the improvements are. I'll put them on the screen here and probably at the beginning, and I put them at the beginning of the video as well, just what the changes are from the Gen 1 to the Gen 2 L5AWMs. Again, in terms of a clear winner, I don't think we have one. They all performed about the same. When one had an issue, another one didn't, and then the other ones did, and that one didn't. So when you get your mags all disgusting and gummed up with stuff, it is a mechanical part. It requires springs and other things to operate and work in unison, and one of those operations gets clogged or snagged on something, the whole thing kind of comes to a halt. So again, keep up with your malfunction drills. If you're going to have butterfingers and drop your mags in the dirt, sand, mud, moon dust, let me know what you guys think. If there was something that you saw I could have done better, any other additional tests we could have done, if there's some other mags that you'd like to see me test, whatever I did wrong in this one and I'm an idiot, go ahead and let me know so I can go ahead and correct it for future videos and make things better for you. Also, let me know who you thought was the winner of today's video. So anyway, with that, I'll stop taking up your time. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.